Robbinsdale swinging in, and it is a fair ball, and Wayzata wins it. Champlin Park back to state for the third straight year.
Hello and welcome to Sports Jam for our first show of the spring sports season. I'm John Jacobson.
And I'm Jay Wilcox. It's been a rough spring so far for weather. We'll get to that in a moment. Plus bring you some local team previews.
Let's begin with softball. And while the snow has made outdoor grass fields unplayable here in the metro area, several teams are getting games played in sports domes. Last week, Armstrong and Maple Grove met indoors at the Maple Grove Sports Dome. Top of the second inning, Amanda Tyler drops in the hit. Mavis Sack scores for a 2-0 Crimson lead. Fourth inning, Ava Dueck rips the hit to score 2 more runs, and it's 5-0 Maple Grove. Sixth inning, Sophie Colhane, a perfect swing on this pitch. Souvenir for a lucky fan, too. A 2-run homer for Colhane. And they aren't done. Top of the seventh, Jade Tomaszek crushes another Crimson home run. It's a 3-run shot for Tomaszek. Maple Grove goes on to win this game over Armstrong 11-0. Maple Grove also beat Andover 4-2 right after that win over Armstrong. Tomaszek continued her hot start with another home run, going 2 for 3 in the game. Crimson had 10 hits, and Dueck pitched a 4-hitter for the win. Britt Olson homered for the Huskies. Maple Grove also beat Irondale later in the week and is now 4-0 on the season.
Champlin Park hopes to be a contender in Northwest Suburban softball. The Rebels faced an improved opponent as they played Park Center in the Maple Grove Dome. Bottom of the first, the Rebels' Grace Warwa singles to left field. Abby Gilk scores from second base, and it's 1-0 Champlin Park. Park Center answers in the top of the second inning in a big way. Kiara Hurt drives one deep, and it is over the fence in right center for a home run, and that ties it up at 1-1. Jump ahead to the sixth inning, a big defensive play by Rebels second baseman Bailey Shuck, who tags the runner and then throws to Warwa at first to complete the double play and end the inning. Bottom of the sixth, the Rebels break this one open. Taylor Kordiak bounces a single to center field. Lexi Steffes and Emma Burge score on the play, and it's 3-1 Champlin Park. Later in the inning, Aaron Reardon hits a fly ball to center. Kordiak tags up and scores from third as Champlin Park wins at 6-1. The Rebels went to Brainerd Saturday and won 2 out of 3 games, and they are 3-1 entering the week.
The Cooper and Benilde softball teams each won their season openers inside domes last week. Hawks and Red Knights then met up at the Plymouth Creek Dome. Bottom of the first, Cooper's Allie Adams rips a hard ground ball down the line, gets away from the outfielder. Adams goes to third here on the play. She'll score in a ground out later for a 1-0 Hawks lead. Top of the second inning, Abby Mead drops a fly ball into the shallow outfield to score Mackenzie Staples and Hannah Nichols. The Red Knights take the lead on the double by Mead. Top of the fourth, Sarah Houlihan's hit scores Nichols and Mead. It's a 2-out, 2-run double for Houlihan, and it gives BSM a 4-2 lead. Top of the fifth, Benilde 8th grader Sophie Melness drives it over the net for a 3-run homer. 7-2 on Melsness' home run. They win 7-3 and stay unbeaten on the season.
Tennis courts are drying up now, so local boys teams are trying to get caught up on their schedules. Wayzata played host to Maple Grove on Friday. In the number 2 doubles match, Wayzata's Nick Uphoff and Colin Badoon in the near court against Andrew and Reed Dumbold. After an exchange, the Wayzata guys get an easy overhead for the point. Same match, and Maple Grove's now in the near court. Some good hands at the net lead to a point for the Crimson, but the Trojans duo wins this match. To number 2 singles, Wayzata's Johnny Nudler's in the near court meeting Eli Notkin. Nudler wins the point with 4 hands, and he takes the match 6-1, 6-1. To first doubles, and a big serve for Michael Deal of Wayzata for the ace. Deal and Max Thal beat Ben Bakke and Chris Kwan of the Crimson 6-0, 6-2, the score for the Trojans duo. At number 1 singles, Josh Miller of Maple Grove is in the near court against John Foley. Miller will try to lob one deep, but it's too long as Foley rolls to a 6-2, 6-0 win. Wayzata wins 7-0 for their third straight win to start the season. And it's very early, but Wayzata certainly looking like they might be the top team in the area this spring, John.
That match was played Friday. Since the weekend, a lot more melting, so I think most teams will be able to get out, if not everybody, this weekend and get some matches in, so it's some nice weather ahead. Lacrosse teams with turf fields will be in action this week as well, many playing their first games of the season. Handful, though, got games in late last week. Benilde St. Margaret's girls hosted St. Louis Park in a Metro West Conference game. Benilde's Maria DeCesar working through and shooting and scoring there. It's 4-1 after that goal. Piper Eland sets up Maitland Luxand, and it's another Red Knights goal. Eland switches hand to slip the defender and score, and Benilde leads this game 8-1 at halftime. Second half, Maggie Anderson goes hard to the goal and scores as Benilde continues to dominate. DeCesar wins the face-off, makes a fast run to the goal and gives Benilde an 11-2 lead. And then she'll bull her way through for another goal. Benilde wins this one 12-5. Red Knights boys also won their game against St. Louis Park the same day, 15-2. So good action. Get out on the turf. You can see all the snow around the field, but those turf fields certainly nice to have for lacrosse teams at most of our schools.
Yeah, that's for sure. And digging the ball out of the snowbank is probably not going to be happening for much longer. So that was a little novelty to that game. There's much more to come here on Sports Jam. We preview some of our local teams as they prepare for this short spring season. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sports Jam.
Well, some serious melting took place over the weekend. A week ago, we received a ton of snow from a record-setting blizzard. Some of that white stuff is still around, and this late arriving spring has certainly played havoc on the high school sports season. These are not the signs of spring that we are looking for. The spring that was already late to arrive wasn't helped by the 1.5 feet of snow dumped here over the weekend.
I've been here 15 years in this position, and I think it was 5 years ago we had a storm that kind of dumped a little bit on us that took us back a couple weeks setback, and we did some adjusting on schedules, but nothing like what we have been dealt now this weekend. Maybe by Thursday or Friday.
At Armstrong High School, Patty Weldon is trying to find space for their spring sports teams to play games, meets, and matches on campus. Tennis, baseball, softball, lacrosse, and track and field. Every school, though, is in the same boat. And when the games do begin, there are other challenges.
If there's not enough officials available, we just don't have it. You know, the high school league's working with us, downsizing games. We can eliminate the mandatory officials needed per game. So those are all helpful things to us. But as a conference with the Northwest Suburban, we have already decided if you can't get your conference games in, you just can't get them in.
At the Maple Grove Sports Dome next to Maple Grove High School, the District 279 schools have space to share during the day for practices. And starting this week, games. Osseo softball is hosting a doubleheader today.
It's been a godsend for all of our sports to be able to come in here just to get a feel in a bigger space than being in a gym. So it's nice to have this at our use.
While the Maple Grove Dome is great for softball and even lacrosse games, the space is too small for baseball games. And the prospect for playing outside on grass anytime soon is not good, even with the expected warm-up this weekend.
We still need frost to come out of the ground after the snow melts, and then for that to dry. Then we have to work on the field. So softball, baseball, we're still a few weeks out, I think, before we can get a game on those fields.
The bottom line is the regular season will be shortened as everybody tries to make the best of a bad situation.
You know, it's just the cards we were dealt, and that's what happens when you live in Minnesota. And, you know, I'm very fortunate with the crew we're working with here. We're all working together trying to make this thing the best we can.
Jay, it is amazing how much snow melted, though, since we shot that story last Monday and Tuesday. Grass fields still aren't quite ready at most places, so it's still kind of touch and go with baseball and softball. High school golfers probably have it the worst this spring. Who knows when these local courses are going to open?
That's true, and obviously the high schools don't really have any control over that either. They just have to be patient and then probably stack up a lot of matches, although I don't think guys mind having to go out and golf for guys and girls every day if it comes to that too. Well, 3 local baseball teams have made the past 2 Class 4A state tournaments. Maple Grove is one of those teams, and recently we visited the Crimson. It's a good group of ball players returning from a state tournament team at Maple Grove, and they're primed for a good season.
Definitely. Yeah, I think this group of guys can compete, and I think we'll give it a run toward the end of the season. Yep.
Yeah, our goal this year is to get back, because we know last year once we got there, we put up a good fight against Forest Lake in a game we think we should have won. And this year we hope we can get back, because we know on any given day we can come out on top.
While they did lose a couple of key pieces from 2017, Maple Grove has plenty of star power. Pitcher first baseman Jerry Gooley and Nathan Martinson. Shortstop pitcher Hayden Thompson. Third baseman Dylan Peck. Catcher Bennett Lewis, and outfielders Curtis Haugen and Jake Hansen are strong returners. It's a solid lineup.
I'd say the strength of our team has always been mostly fielding and pitching, and in Florida we actually had a bunch of guys have their bats come out, and so we're looking pretty promising.
The schedule will be compressed for all teams because of the weather. Maple Grove might be hurt less than most because they have plenty of pitching.
So we'll have about 5 or 6 guys that can all throw quality innings, and then we'll lean on some of the younger guys to fill in a couple innings after we kind of go through everyone.
Well, it's definitely going to require a lot of arms to kind of get through the season, but I think that's probably going to be an advantage for us, because right now I think we have a number of guys that could get on the bump for us in a varsity game and do all right.
When the season finally gets going, look for good things from Maple Grove. John, I think they have a chance to be pretty good again, and really 3 programs that we talked about have stepped forward. Wayzata, Champlain Park, and Maple Grove kind of putting together some really good seasons in successive years here, and their programs are strong.
Champlain Park and Maple Grove scheduled to play each other later this week, weather permitting and field conditions permitting. Next up, we'll take some swings with defending state boys golf champions, plus a look at 2 local lacrosse teams. Welcome back to our Spring Sports Preview Show, Sports Jam here on CCX. The Osseo Park Center boys lacrosse team returns most of its high-end players this spring and has high expectations. Here's Jason Malillo with more.
Osseo Park Center has 20 of 24 letter winners returning this season, and most of those guys have played varsity lacrosse together for several years.
We've all been playing with each other since 4th grade, and so we all kind of have a bond with each other, and I think this is a season we've all been waiting for since we were playing in the youth state tournament. And I know a lot of the guys, most of us are juniors and seniors, so most of us are seniors, so a lot of us are going to be parting, so it's kind of our last year all together.
OPC should have a dynamic offense as the top 5 leading scorers are back, led by junior midfielder Damon Lingassen, who racked up over 40 goals last year.
Just got a really nice shot. He's got experience. He lettered as a 7th grader and has been a starter for over 3 years already. So he's seen a lot of playing time. That definitely helps. He is definitely the leader on the offense as far as, getting people in the right spots when he's out there.
On defense, OPC will be a work in progress. Its backliners are young and still learning, but starting goalie Ben Peterson returns, and he'll anchor that side of the field.
He's going to be very important. I mean, last year he quarterbacked it and he did an amazing job, and this year I'm hoping he'll be the same way. He seems like he's going to be, he's always super loud, he's a great goalie, great leader, and I'm excited to have him back.
Osseo Park Center is still a pretty young team this spring, but the boys hope their experience and camaraderie will translate to a good season. Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
OPC's boys will play their first 3 games of the season this week, including the team's home opener Friday night at Park Center High School.
The Maple Grove girls lacrosse team has won its first 2 games of the season, and the Crimson is well built to make a run at its 3rd straight section title. Here again is Jason.
Maple Grove returns a strong core of players for 2018. Leading scorer Emily Herdeen will command the midfield, and the Crimson has several skilled attackers.
Obviously beating Irondale 17-2 can show how much we can actually dominate a team, and the talking and confidence has definitely gone up over the summer, even though we haven't played together. But it's just nice to see everyone working together well.
Sometimes it's hard to gain that confidence when you step up to like a varsity team or game, and so just having that support back that have already been playing varsity and helping the kids that haven't, it just is really beneficial.
Maple Grove's most significant loss was goalie Coco Francis. Freshman Bridget Getch will step into the starting role and should have a solid defense in front of her.
She's one of the best younger goalies I've ever seen. She, in practice, she's got a ton of saves, her clears are amazing, and she's so talkative down with the defense.
The Crimson has made the state tournament 2 years in a row. Last year, MG failed to win a game at state, but the girls believe they'll be ready this season if they make it that far. Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
Maple Grove hosts 2 games this week, Wednesday against Totino Grace and Thursday night against Elk River Rogers Zimmerman. Well, local golf teams will have to wait until courses are ready before matches can be started. The defending state class 3A champion Wayzata boys are raring to go. There's no way around it. Golf season is going to be pretty short this spring, but the Wayzata guys are trying to prepare as best as they can.
There's definitely things, I mean, just out here there's lots of targets that we can hit and focus just on certain things we want to work on, at least for myself. I work on small little things that I can get better at. And obviously it's not the same as being able to see your ball fly, but everyone's working through the same thing like I said before. So we just got to keep working through it as a team and not complain about it and not have it as an excuse going through the year.
Trying to add some variety and competition to daily practice sessions has been key.
When we go to chip and putt, the kids build a bracket and have matches for the number of up and downs that they get within 9 holes or their overall score within 9 holes. And so we've got that being competitive. The last time we were here at the Dome, a number of the kids that are looking to try to make varsity, they were having a competition on if they could chip it into the bucket. And so you start doing things like that, the practice time inside really goes by quickly.
Wayzata won the state 3A title last season, their 5th championship in the past 9 seasons and 7th overall. The top 4 scorers in the state tournament for the Trojans graduated, but they do return talented senior Tristan Nelko, who tied for 30th at state, and junior Ben Schumacher. Add some promising up-and-comers, and this should be a very good team again.
Obviously lost some guys, but I'm looking to lead the team back to that 10th spot next year, and hopefully we can repeat as champions. That's the goal.
When the course is finally open, look out for Wayzata. Quite a run of success they've had, John. Obviously a lot to replace, but they definitely have some talent.
Also, track and field teams starting to get some outdoor competitions in as well. Better temperatures should certainly help them. Hamlin Elite Meet coming up this Friday night with some great track and field athletes from across Minnesota. Straight ahead, we preview a local softball and a local baseball team with high hopes for the season.
As you saw earlier in the program, the Champlin Park softball team won its season opener against Park Center. The Rebels have a solid core of good players and hope to be contenders in the conference this season. Here's Jason Malillo with more.
Champlin Park has only 2 seniors on its roster this spring, so preseason practice is run a little different.
Everything takes a little bit longer because you're going to make sure that you give everybody a fair eval. You know, trying to put the best squad together, making sure that you're trying to do what's best for the kid, what's best for the program.
We've already had a couple scrimmages, and the young girls have really stepped up and they're doing really good. And I can tell that they're like a little nervous, but just like with their fundamentals and what they do, I think they'll be really good and really good additional people to the group.
The Rebels do have talent, though. Catcher Julia Dorn and first baseman Grace Warwa will be leaders on the field and in the dugout. And junior Holly Blaska, a Division I recruit, is an elite player. On the mound, sophomore Piper Otto will be Champlin's go-to starter. She pitched well last year and should continue to progress.
Last year she was a surprise for us as the season went on, and how much she was able to pitch for us. And you know, coming back this year as our #1, she's put in the work and really is going to put a solid effort in. So I'm excited to watch her play as well.
Piper has a good drop ball, and she also, whenever she's on the mound, she's always going at it. No matter if she's doing well, she's doing bad, she's always got this determined look on her face, and she keeps the team going. So I think that's going to be one of the most important parts.
Champlin Park plays a tough non-conference schedule, and the Northwest Suburban is always a grind. The Rebels hope to learn as they go and be at their best come playoff time. Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
They should have a pretty good season. Obviously, Maple Grove's off to a good start. They were in the tournament last year. Hopkins also a returning state tournament team in softball, John.
Pitching's always a key, though, isn't it, in that sport? And how well your pitcher can do is often a sign of how well your team might be able to do. Now to baseball. Back to baseball. The Heritage Christian Academy team should be a contender this spring, both in their conference and in Section 4A. This year, the Eagles are looking to take that next big flight to the state tournament.
It's a veteran group of players that returns for Heritage Baseball this spring. All but 2 starters are back for a team that finished 17-9 last season. That experience helps leading into a new year.
I definitely think it does. I think a lot of the guys are a lot more motivated to do preseason stuff. They've seen what the beginning of practice looks like, and they know what they have to be ready for in terms of hitting and fielding and pitching and that kind of stuff. So I think just knowing what they're getting into makes it a big deal. We have a big group of seniors this year, so that's helpful in that way.
On the field, the Eagles are led by senior shortstop and pitcher Seth Halverson, a University of Missouri signee. But there are plenty of other good ball players here, and with spring nowhere in sight yet, the Eagles say their pitching depth should show itself in what figures to be a condensed regular season schedule.
I mean, there could be weeks where we have 5 games in a week, so that's going to be huge. And I think that's where we have an edge over other teams, is how far we can go with pitchers. I think there's only a couple guys maybe that can't throw on our team, so that'll help a lot going deep into the season.
Both the girls and boys basketball teams from the school reached the state tournament last month, a first for both programs. Coach John Ladebor believes that can carry over to this group.
And I think having that experience of what the postseason, what it took in basketball is very motivating. Seeing that a girls basketball team did it this year has been very motivating for our basketball team as well as baseball. So I think just that overall experience and knowledge of what it takes and what it really feels like to finally break that is a huge motivator for our guys.
Heritage has watched other teams celebrate in section baseball finals. The Eagles have been runners-up 5 straight years, but enough is enough.
I have 3 of those red ribbons now, and I don't really want another one, so it's really motivating to finally take over the section and go to school.
Jay Heritage is scheduled to host Maranatha Christian Academy this Friday out at Hamlin Legion Park. Looks like they'll get that one in.
Yeah, let's hope so. And Mustangs have a new head coach as their former player Aaron Hedrick takes over there. We'll be right back to wrap up Sports Jam right after this.
Makes your community feel like home? Is it knowing what's happening in your neighborhood? Or when people know your name? Connections make us a community. For more than 30 years, Northwest Community Television has connected citizens, neighbors, even sports fans through video. You can learn about the latest news through our truly local newscast. We cover and air around 150 high school sporting events every year. For our cities, we air parades and city meetings that you can watch whenever you want. Then, any citizen of our cities can create and share their own original content. We'll even teach you how to use the equipment too. We have always provided you with a connected community experience. And as life gets busier than ever, we will continue to engage, inform, and inspire through CCX Media, so you can stay connected to the place you call home.
Kids, get your bikes ready for the annual Bike Rodeo on Thursday, May 3rd at the Crystal Community Center. Find out more at ccxmedia.org under Cities and in the Community.
Looking for local? Even more local? CCX Media gives you the option to connect with your community on multiple levels. CCX Create welcomes you, community residents, to connect and experience television in an exciting way. The free TV classes we offer will have you on your way to creating TV, and our wide variety of content can be watched at home or on the go. Connect to what's happening in your community. Visit ccxmedia.org. Looking for local? Even more local? CCX Media gives you the option to connect with your community on multiple levels. CCX Sports brings you ultimate coverage in local prep sports with full game coverage of over 120 high school games a year with highlights and features on our daily newscast. Then, our weekly Sports Jam show gives you a close-up look at local athletes, highlights of local games, and in-depth interviews. Our content can be watched at home or on the go. Visit ccxmedia.org.
Our game of the week, weather permitting, is a good baseball matchup as Maple Grove visits Champlin Park in a battle of state tournament teams from last season. The game is scheduled for Thursday at 4:30. Watch it live on the web at ccxmedia.org or catch the replays on our TV channel 799 and 12 Friday night at 7 p.m. And that will do it for this week's Sports Jam.
Hoping to have a full week of games this week. We'll see you next time here on Sports Jam.